What's good, you guys? Listen, it's a late night. I am gonna front. It's a late night silliness. You can see this tomorrow. I may delete it. Had a great weekend in Houston. I'm in Houston having a freaking blast. Now you're like, Erica, it's Saturday. Don't you want to be outside getting crumb and tearing up? I don't have to. I'm having a good night. Now, earlier I did a stream and I got to see one of the people who came to the boat party, a husband and wife team. I got to see the wife and got to spend time seeing a project. I don't think y'all understand how powerful it is for me to like see somebody come to my event, watch videos, and then actually take action. So homegirl and her husband taking action, right? And that's like joyous for me. Now, earlier I was going to say in my video, which I didn't get time, is there's this a magic sweet spot, like 100,000 to 180,000. I'm in Houston, and literally, if you guys go watch the video from yesterday with Houston Vintage House, listen, Instagram, you go look that up. He literally is working on places where you got the lot for 35,000 to 50,000. You build a property on it for 120,000, or a duplex on it for 120,000, 150 max. Turn around and selling it for 220, 250, and making a killing, right? Because many people say, well, Erica, nobody got money in this economy. This is crap. Listen, if you're in Houston and you want to qualify for a house that's 225,000 or 250,000, that's just the husband and wife both making 30K a year. That's just the husband and wife both making 40K a year. It's very little to qualify for that. Very little. Now, why do I bring all that up? Because many people get overwhelmed with real estate and say, oh, I don't have any money. It costs thousands of dollars. Many of you have jobs that will cover that cost, that will get you your foot in the door, that will get you approved for loans. Now, every week you guys have been seeing me on this channel. I've been going to events, Eventbrite, conferences, concerts, music events, dinners. And I'm telling you, I'm out there with people. I'm not just saying something on a YouTube with my face hidden, or I'm not just talking smack. Like, I literally be out in these streets living actual life. And what you're seeing is folks who are investing, folks who are getting married, folks who are traveling, folks who are doing big things. I would consider them top 20%, 9 times out of 10. Thank you, Lewis, for the $5 super chat. Yeah, I'm already in my room. I ain't driving no more tonight. I'm good for tonight. But, what's up, everybody? I just try to explain to people that it's less than you think. The hop between you watching these videos and actually taking action is less than you think. There's so many people who come to the boat party, come to the event, and they actually start doing it, winning like crazy, right? Now, people are upset about Donald Trump, and I'm telling you, do not be distracted by that. Don't be distracted by the Popeyes chicken thing. Don't be distracted by all this other stuff. If you can just tune in to 1 or 2 properties by the end of the year, you guys will see such a change in your life and your funding. Many people say, well, Erica, which course should I take? Which thing should I do? The funding course, off rip. The funding course, the how to create investment group. There's just a lot of things y'all can do in touch with where you're at, just where you're at, your city you're at, and get moving. Now, I don't know if you saw on Instagram, literally the Ivy investors in Philly just got married, just got engaged. And a couple other people I've been in the internet space with are getting engaged and getting married. And it just plays into, and it's not even people in the internet space. It's actually the event I went to the other day, Earn Your Leisure. 800 people registered. Almost 300 showed up. The place was full to capacity. I'm glad the fire marshal didn't come by because he would have shut it down, okay? And most people I ran into working in oil and gas, got the mind right, know to invest in real estate, living here in Houston, not going to get left behind. But what happens is now that we're talking about recession, you have a couple different types of people. People who are like, oh, no, Trump's economy is great. And other people who are like, what recession? Again, what people don't understand is it hits different pockets in different sectors. It hits different pockets in different sectors. But if you're paying attention, who stays wealthy throughout this whole thing? Always, always, always real estate investors and business owners. Now, many of you have been like, well, Erica, trucking, the loads have gotten slower. Did you see the news? And I'm in the industry. I know. That's why I laugh when people try to send me paperwork that I'm like, no, you work for a crappy truck person anyway. Like, you work for a big name person. You're just a number for, and they don't care about. I've seen those people. I work on the inside lane. Now, what does the inside lane mean? The inside lane means I work with a smaller company who are tapped into dispatchers that are from European countries, and they are most of the people who provide a lot of the dispatching and company services. So when you sit here and tell me, oh, Erica, I went here or there, I'm like, listen, I'm on the inside lane, and trucking ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. Okay. The trucking, the reason you're seeing such a problem right now, you say, oh, drivers aren't driving. It's guys who can't pass drug tests who aren't driving. That's who ain't driving. Yes, we are. And I'm sitting here recording videos showing you how cheap the house was. The old girl showed us earlier. Got it. I think it was the old man had a reverse mortgage foreclosed for $8,000. She got it for less than $100,000. Putting $20,000 in it. Going to turn around. It's going to be valued at $160,000. Going to turn around and rent out for like $1,400. But instead of just renting out, she's going to lease. She's going to basically be the bank for someone who's trying to buy a home. There's 7 different ways, and she gave books in the video. If y'all go see the video from earlier, I think it was the art of real estate. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I have to go back and look at it. But I keep trying to tell y'all, like, the difference between you guys watching these videos and stepping out and doing it is very little. I tell you, the reason I actually pushed for trucking is because a guy came up to me at the Max Maxwell event in Houston. I had already had access to Hood Estates course for a while. I just was overwhelmed and busy. The guy comes up and says, oh my God, I watched your video, went, got the course, watched it that night 3 times, went to my bank at Navy Federal, got a $40,000 line of credit, went, got a truck, got a driver all in a week, and is on the road. It really is just decision making. It's just decision making at this point. And people that are elite, and I'm being careful with that word, and thank you, Vanny or Verily G for the $10 super chat. When people make a decision to be elite, now what do I mean elite? I mean their money is on point. They're not in these ridiculous financial dramas. The car's reasonable, the living is reasonable. You can tell it, you can smell it on people. At that event that night, there are several people in there, just relaxed, and they looked amazing. So relaxed. I love going places and seeing people relax. Why? Because they dress nice, they got a good job, they got money sitting on the side. And what you will see 9 times out of 10 when you go to these events, and I know this because I do this every week. I'm not somebody saying these things on the internet. You see me out at these events. You see me consistently out at events, out at conferences, investing in multiple cities. You can see it. Social proof is here. 9 times out of 10, these people got 20K to 30K. And then they go to these events and partner with somebody, and it's a wrap, yo. They go to these events, find one person to connect with, and then next time I see them, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Oh man, I partnered with this person. I'm getting it moving. It's that simple. I know it sounds like it's, oh, Erica, that's too simple. I promise you it's that simple. Where you're going to these events. Think about it. A person who took the time out of their day on a Thursday night to say, I'm going to go to this event. I know it's going to be hot. I know it's going to be crowded. I'm going to go anyway. They are already a person who are 10 levels above someone who ain't doing nothing with their life or just talking about it. Now you get in the room, and what was so cool is if you see in the video, there's wristbands on all our hands that are different colors, which was amazing. So we had a purple wristband for real estate, red for oil and gas, yellow for just all kind of different things, right? And if you go, when Kahari chops the video up, you'll see it. I did a whole picture of the wall. That was powerful because you walk around and you go, oh, what does red mean? Oh, what does purple mean, right? Because most times out of 10, you just paid attention to what your color was. And it opened the door to talk to a lot of people. And what's amazing is people get it. People in real estate, if you're in Houston and the past 5 years you haven't been in real estate, I'm sorry. You missed some good deals already. But there's still more. There's still more. And that's the thing, is like being able to see the next level stuff. Being able to see there's just money on the ground and people are moving here. Again, let's do it again. 293 people a day moved to Dallas. 157 moved to Austin. Okay. Almost 500 a day were moving to Houston at one point in time. 500 a day, y'all. That's not little. And these people have to go somewhere. Now, there were parts where we were driving. What's up, Trav? Good night. There were some parts, because I know it's late on the East Coast, y'all. I'm not even surprised. I'm just doing this late video. There are some parts of Houston, I was like, why would anybody live over here? But that's just it. Somebody needs somewhere to live. There's always going to be somebody needs somewhere to live. And so you can literally come in and build 100 houses on one side of some of these neighborhoods, drive a couple streets over to be like, ooh, that's still crazy. And I respect that because Houston doesn't have zoning, but I also respect it because I know y'all think I'm a geek for Game of Thrones, but chaos is a ladder. Like Littlefinger wasn't lying. Chaos is a ladder, y'all. Like chaos is not a pit. Being poor is not a pit. Being poor at any time. Like I'm a middle class kid, and y'all know that. Y'all watch this channel. Y'all know my family. We were poor in the 80s, then got back up, and we've had some money in the past. But literally, I have to connect with people who are what used to be poor because they are more creative in some aspects than me. And it wasn't until I lost my money in Austin that I started getting grind, hustle, grind, hustle, grind, hustle. Where can I put this money at? This money needs to go somewhere and make me money. This money needs to go somewhere and make me money. But there's a line, right? When you're poor too long, sometimes it's generationally poor. You can't see new stuff. But when you're in that shift where people think they can rise out of it, classy climb, right? That's the magic, right? So you're talking to people who have come back to some of these hood neighborhoods, and it's like, don't you see? I can see the Houston skyline from here. Don't you see that I can build something right here for 100K? Where else in the city can you build that cheap? Nowhere. Nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to, one, keep your eyes open, and two, be willing to partner. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'd rather do all this myself. And I'll tell you, listen, no lie, I'll say it again. If you're like, Erica, I just want to hop out on my own. Okay. You need to have your tax return tax 2 years showing you making some money. You need to be able to get approved for some funding. Because if you're in this Houston market and you're trying to find a rental, I'm telling y'all, 110,000 to 180,000 everywhere. Everywhere. And that 180,000, somebody do the calculations for me. Help your girl out. I'm having a little night here. 80,000 times 20% down. That's 36,000. Now I'm not always recommending credit cards by no means. But I know a lot of you who go out here and get this financing. I'm telling you, if you got the money for the down payment, if you got the money to get in that wiggle room, because a lot of times they were showing me properties that were 120,000. 120,000 times 20%, got my calculator out, it's $24,000. I mean, it's and then of course closing costs, but a lot of times I'm talking to people where I'm like, do you understand if you get that one rental property, now when you go fill out for funding for another bank loan or other types of funding, you're going to be approved at different levels because now you're a different buyer. Before you were a person just thinking about it with no rental. Now you got more, right? And I keep trying to tell y'all, I mean, you become a different buyer. The person on paper that I was before I started the investment company and the person I am on paper now, whole thing. What did you miss? Wall Street Trapper? Good evening. What's up? I'm not ignoring y'all. I'm trying to stay awake. Popeye chicken sandwiches are cool, but don't let that distract you from all the investment opportunities. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, The Art of Owner Financing by Mitch Steven. Yeah, that was the one. But listen, again, I'm out here in Houston. You got people getting that vacant lot, nothing on it. And listen, here's the combination factor. Here's the win. I've told y'all before, the win is going to be a mixture. Yes, you want to renovate some of these old properties because there's money to be made in those old neighborhoods. But you also want to have a mixture of new construction. Look at everybody that's winning. They have a mixture of old and they have a mixture of new. Because new construction, you build from the ground up. Anytime you go in these old houses and start tearing up walls and tearing up stuff, you find the surprises. You're dealing with the hood, people stealing stuff. But when you have a vacant lot and you're building from the ground up, you're starting fresh, right? And that does take a little bit longer with the permits and whatnot. But the best part of it is it's just quick. People love new stuff. People love new properties. And when I was talking with several people that showed me house and stuff, I was like, why does everybody keep building these 3-story townhouses? Because they're just not functional. Listen, if you have a 3-story townhouse, 4-story townhouse, and you have a baby, y'all done changed. Y'all gonna need something different. or you have an elderly parent that want to come live with you. You're going to need something different. I have friends who have twins. They have a 2-story house. It's just 2 stories. Go up 1 flight of stairs. They have a 70-something-year-old mom. And I'm telling you, like, that they got twin babies and a 70-something-year-old mom. They already don't want to do that. They already like, we got to go 1 floor. We got to go 1 floor because it'll just save us time, money, energy, not have to worry about the children falling, not have to worry about my mother falling. Like it again, that's why these old neighborhoods where these 1 stories are making so much money, because people want to have a backyard. People want to have, everything on 1 level. What's old is new again. You see all these like modern farmhouses. If you ever see my Instagram, I'm posting left and right old modern farmhouses. I'm telling you, and on trucking, I'm trying to hop all over the place, but I'm just gonna say, people were asking me, oh, trucking, Erica, they're telling me the loads are slowing down. Oh my God. And I'm sitting here showing newspaper article after article saying, oh no, it was a blimp in April and now it's fine. But if you made all your business decisions on 2 weeks where it was slow for some companies, who I could tell you and point out each and every company that it showed was short on business lines of credit, and that's why they couldn't get more funding, and that's why they closed. It wasn't for the lack of loads. It wasn't for the lack of need of drivers. We all need drivers. There are companies right now paying 60 cents a mile, 70 cents a mile, when they used to pay 40 cents a mile just to get a driver. I promise you, y'all, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. And I promise you, like, the top 20% of people I'm running into out there, it's the same stuff. People want the same stuff. They want a nice spouse, some kids, and some investments. When they wake up and realize my job, they can fire me any day. I'm telling you, most of the people I run into on this channel and at events are 2 people, 2 types. They're young. They see somebody who's not that smart doing real estate or investments and go, well, shit, I can do that too, right? Or they're in their 40s to 50s and they realize at that moment, between the kids, the parents, and that job can let them go any day this week. And that's where you see these people invest. That's where you're seeing it. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm out here with these people, and I'm telling you, people in trucking, people in real estate again makes 90% of all the millionaires in this world, and mostly United States. So the rest is mostly business. I mean, there's several articles I post on Instagram where show you where these millionaires are being created. Again, people always act like, well, why are you always talking about real estate? I'm telling you, because they ain't making no more land. And when recession, that people, the mainstream figures it out, they're going to start rushing more to Texas, rushing more to other places, because they cannot stay in New York. They cannot stay in California. They are living on the edge as is now. So the cousin in them that live down south, oh, it might be time for me to move. That cousin in them that live, over there that they act like they don't care about, might be time for me to move. This happens every time, you guys. This is not surprising. This isn't a surprise. This happened in the 80s and 90s with gangs, gang problems. So they would leave Chicago and come to North Carolina with their cousin trying to save his life, or they would leave from Ohio and New York, and try to move them down. It happens every time, bro. This is not new. People are the same. That's why I wouldn't listen. I'm not going to go too crazy on it. But when people talk about this red pill, blue pill stuff, I kind of giggle and I kind of laugh, because I've seen the guys that talk about it. They hit about 30, 35, 40. All of a sudden, they done got married to some girl. I mean, I literally ran into a guy at one of the events who is hardcore online. I won't name him. He just got married to an old girl from, it's not Venezuela, but it's further. It's not Brazil. What country is that? It's in the, give me a minute to think on it. But I met her. I thought she was a black girl. Then she started talking. I said, oh, you got you one from down the country. And he got married. And that's why I was laughing. I was like, if you look over, what is it? It might be Argentina. I don't want to lie on the old girl. But I think she was from her. But no, it wasn't Ecuador. She wasn't short stack. She looked like, I thought she was Brazilian, but she wasn't. She had to be either, I don't want to lie, but I'm thinking, I don't think it was Venezuela though. It's another country somewhere up there, y'all. I'm gonna have to look at a map. It's gonna bother me. But long story short, I started talking to her, and she had already had the mannerisms. Colombia, yes, thank you, Colombia. And she was darker than me. Hair was longer, way longer. Her hair is down here where her boobs are, and down her back, and clearly. And so at first, you look out the corner of your eye and you think, oh, somebody got weave on or something. And she got closer. I was like, oh, hey. And then she started talking, but she already had the very much mannerisms of an American, like all the mannerisms of an American girl. And I was laughing. Is North of South America? Shut it. You know what I meant. And she actually was doing the student visa thing, but she was coming either way. She was coming to America either way, y'all. Any way she could get here. And it was funny because as I was talking to him, it's just one of those things of life. As you start getting your mid-30s or you start getting the 30s, this conversation people are having is stuff you hear 25-year-old men say. When you hear 45-year-old men talk like that, you're like, did you get divorced? Is something wrong with you? Something happened? Because that's, again, you meet 30s, people in the 30s, the average person is going to work, want to come home to somebody, cooking dinner, having a great time, going out on the weekends on vacations and keep it moving. Just do. And so I was like, salute to you, sir. Good job. She's beautiful. Same thing. I saw a couple of people this past weekend with amazing, beautiful Black women who were, educated. And I just think it's funny when people try to tell you something online and I'm like, I live in real world. Like I live in the real world. And not knocking anybody, but I live out here in the real world. And there's a girl right now on Instagram. She's not no size 6. She's a freaking lawyer. Her old boy, he a lawyer. And not a cheap lawyer, not a broke lawyer, like a lawyer making money. And they get married. So again, people will say all kind of stuff on the internet, but if they out here every week, they know that's not true. And how do you get out here in the real world and see stuff and connect with people? Go on freaking Eventbrite. And I promise you, go on meetup.com and Eventbrite, and you can fill your schedule up for 2 weeks. Now, you can make this all business if you want, but you can also dabble a little personal. I think a mixture is good. That's why I go outside. Most of these online thugs are like vampires, afraid of something. Yeah. Let me tell you something. From 5 to 7, I tell you this, and I mean this. If there's a woman you meet, and from 5 to 7 in the afternoon after work, she's not going to the gym, or she's not going to some kind of happy hour or mixer or something, or something she do for her. That's weird. That's something's off. You know what I mean? Like she just go home with her pets and sit down. Like she's either giving up or she's just like, fuck it, right? Same thing with dudes. I meet dudes who they go out with their coworkers. They go out to cigar lounges. They go out to meetings. They go to the gym. It's something. What am I sipping on? This is a mix of Bailey's and Kahlua. So the bar downstairs was amazing. So I'm using meetups to combat my social anxiety. Yeah, you got to. Because just out here in the real world, people are moving and shaking and keeping it moving. And that's the thing. Like I met so many people the other night who I'm like, look, you go find me a dual partner half and half. Don't do bars. You don't got to do clubs. But when you see meetup events, when you see Eventbrite, go to it, especially some of these real estate events. A lot of these guys, I mean, there was a guy last night. He's married. His wife stayed at home. He came. And he's talking to people, and he's like, man, we're just sitting on 50K. We just don't know what to do. I'm just trying to find the right person. And that's so common. I hear that story all the time. And these are young Black people. These ain't old Black people. These are 32, 33, 34. Just start to get some gray in their head. But they see other people moving. And they know, okay, I mean, I keep telling you about the book, Average is Over. But it's really true. Some of that average living stuff, that's over. Your president is talking, wow, bro, and reckless. Wow. So if you had a plan, you better get on that plan. Terry was riding the car with us and wasn't even talking. She was out there trading. She made $3,000 while Trump was talking crazy the other day. And it was funny. It was funny to me because as much as they talk about it, Trump is that gasoline. He's that gasoline on the fire for this country. And in America, if you guys ever travel outside this country, I'm really for real, not trying to insult anybody. You can make a ton of money in America. America is like one of the easiest places to make money in. We have credit and credit cards. You literally can come to this country. I've shown y'all that website, U.S. Credit Card Guide. People come here with no social security number and can get credit cards. And there's old videos where I've talked about Bank of America. They sit here trying to front. Bank of America was letting people get credit cards without socials. You know, as long as they were had the ITIN number, or they had a job, or they were putting checks into Bank of America on Fridays, Bank of America was out here giving illegal people, whether they want to be honest or not, credit cards. And what happens is, this is one of the easiest freaking countries to do it in and get invested. That's why when I was driving around some of these neighborhoods today, with old boy, I saw where you have, you know, Hispanic people owning 2-3 houses in a row. They own all 3 of those houses together, and they keep some for their kids and their family and their mom and all them. But again, this is one of the easiest countries to make money. But when you go outside this country, you see how people are living. You just do. I mean, that's why I'm gonna do some more travel for September and October. I've got that mastermind in Atlanta, but a lot of times these masterminds, these events, or every time I go and connect in one of these rooms, I make more money. Every time I go and connect in one of these rooms, I connect to somebody who has, you know, connections, or they've got 30K, I got 30K for something. Let's partner together. Let's go get this property. Because if you don't do nothing but get the property and then take the next 6 months to build it, you're putting money into building it. You're doing it in phases. You're not spending 180K all out the gate. That's all there is to it. So, Erica, I want to know if your trucking business is being impacted by the China tariff. Reason I asked is I'm seeing trucking companies folding. I work in business, lending at the bank. I just did a whole speech on that. Go read several articles that said, oh, that's over. It's because several companies that usually get tons of lines of credit, they weren't getting those lines of credits like they used to. So what happens when you have a company running off credit and not off a company holding back reserves? They have to shut down. You can talk to a lot of these people. It's the dispatching is number one. Who's the biggest dog that's on this dispatching? It's the Eastern Europeans and the Middle Eastern folk. And I'm tapped in on the inside lane, and I'm telling you, we're not affected by it because every single state has to still get water. They have to still get gas. They have to still get food. We've set up America in a crazy way where California got a lot of the food, the South has a lot of the food, and then we have to drive the food up north to New York, Ohio, all these places. Now, not that New York and Ohio, these places don't have farms, don't have food, but it's just different, right? Same thing with New York. We just canceled 54 milk contracts because people aren't drinking milk like that no more. But guess who got a boom out of it? California, because they have all these almond trees and they were making almond milk. You know what I'm saying? But how does the almond milk get around the country? Again, trucks. Period. They make money. It's money being made. If you pay attention to the articles, you really read it. It's not the third-party logistics. We are a small part of it. We're 13%. I think we're 15% of the trucking industry. Out of 3.5 million drivers, 15% is very little. And the business is healthy. And what you have to learn is, I think some people think this is a lottery. They think they're going to get a truck. They're drinking. They think they're going to get a truck, and they're going to, every week is going to be a consistent $1,000, $2,000. You don't know business then. You just don't know business. That's nothing wrong with that. But I always adjust expectations of people who are investing with me, because I gotta tell them, like, this is how business rolls. You're gonna spend $1,000 if a tire blows out on the road. You're gonna spend $600, $675 if you need an oil change. You're gonna have to spend this money. And like, if you think this is just the ATM, you just pull out, you're looking at it the wrong way. And this is why you should have multiple investments. Because when you start investing in things and you think it should be a lottery ticket, it's got to keep spitting you out money, you're already looking at it the wrong way. Period. So trucking's fine. You work at a business bank and lending. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. Banks are dying in a lot of ways, because right now I can go pick up the phone and call at least 30 lenders that aren't banks and get financing from companies who are just private investors. Not just people. I'm talking about actual like capital companies, lending companies. And by the end of the day, have $60,000, right? Or $100,000. But I always want to make sure you're turning that money around and using it. Like, many people got the funding course. They're like, oh, I got a 20% interest. I said, no. Okay, so what? You got to put it in something that makes sense. Now, what's the thing that makes sense? A truck, or an active business, or e-commerce, or something that's paying. Because if you put it in something that's a little bit slower, you be smart. You got to be smart about that mess. Okay? Because a lot of people are like, well, I'll just get credit cards. If you had 0% interest credit cards, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Correct? When people try to tell you something, you gotta really hear it with your words. You gotta listen to what they're saying. You know, oh, I want to get high interest. What is high interest? You know, again, prime example, the Todd Christie video. I think it'll be out tomorrow if Kahari finished it. But again, Todd Christie and his wife, they getting $1 million in lending from freaking banks and using it on living their life. That's the worst. That's the dumbest. All he had to do is keep buying cash flowing investments. They could have been franchises. They could have been real estate. They could have been anything. Hit the like button for sure. Thank you. It's 126 people up late. It's a late night. I didn't expect many of y'all to be here, but I'm just telling you, I'm a person who's out here actually doing it. I'm a person going to Eventbrite events. I'm going to meetups. I'm going to conferences. I'm connecting with actual mobile Black and Hispanic people. I've even posted silly stuff on Instagram. And I had a Hispanic person and an Asian person say they were offended. I said, well, my bad. It's my page. I can post what I want. The next week, y'all, both those people were like, can I invest with you? Because at the end of the day, it's about money. It's not about this, like, I'm offended. That's silly. Now, I get it. Some of y'all come on YouTube to laugh and get the laughs on, for sure. But think about how many hours you're spending on some of this stuff. It's got to be a balance. It's got to be 20-80. If 80% of you are like just watching this pure coonery, silly videos, I don't mean that word. I mean, I want to say fuckery, but silly videos all the time, that's your life. Your life will start to be what you feed your brain. That's what comes out. If you keep saying all I see is red Corvettes, you're going to see red Corvettes every day. If all you say is I see Dusties, that's all you're going to see every day is Dusty. If all I see is big booty Judies with multiple kids, that's all you're going to see every day. If all you see is broke people, that's all you're going to see. Because you're feeding your mind. Stop feeding your mind junk. You got to stop feeding your mind junk. And it wasn't until I started putting like that 20%. And what I started doing is I started slowly backing off when I was in here on the YouTube. And I said, you know what? You're spending too much time over there in the silly. Go back to the business, and then go and look in your calendar. And every day, now I'm going to say this, and y'all can get offended, and it's okay. But if you're an unmarried person, being careful here. If you're an unmarried person, I mean, I can say single, you ain't married, you ain't connected, you ain't got no boo. Your afternoons, listen, I've seen men who ain't even attractive spend every afternoon looking for a lady, and oh boy, got a lady pretty quick. That's just is what it is, right? Because you put your focus on it. I've seen girls all of a sudden go from, there's a girl with us this weekend. She lost 70 pounds. If you go look back at my stories, she lost 70 pounds in less than a year. And the first thing I always said, what'd you do, girl? What'd you do? I just cut back what I ate and I worked out every day. Nothing crazy. Just start putting the focus on it. You guys, I'm telling you, it's so simple. Like the girl I got to see today, I told her, listen, don't reinvent the wheel. Go get another property in this close neighborhood. Just get another property. Because don't reinvent the wheel. If you just start adding 1 or 2 properties, because what happens is you're financing, like now that she got that rental, you're a whole different person in the financing. Then you get 2 rentals, now you're a complete different client. People don't want to hear that though. People don't want to hear it. See what y'all saying in here. I didn't mean to ignore y'all, but I just, I've just been out here and I'm like, I actually live life. I actually see people. There was a man, I'm not gonna lie, at the event, he took my phone and put his number in it. And I laughed and I was like, you know what? For that bravery, I would actually respond to his calls. So you gotta do what you gotta do. And people out here not living, not investing, I just don't get it. If you're unmarried, a single person, how are you spending your hours every day? Are you out here watching Netflix every day? Go get on Eventbrite and schedule yourself. Schedule yourself. Now, of course, everybody needs downtime and sleepy time and relaxed time. But when I hear people talking about they broke, but they on YouTube all the time, why are you here? Go work. Go make some more money. Go pick up a new skill. And I mean it. When I was talking about kids in Houston, I saw some of those neighborhoods. I wanted to cry, y'all. I was like, if you're a kid in these neighborhoods and they got these little preparatory schools where you can go across town, take it. If they got somewhere where if you can take your bicycle and go out of your house and across town to where these museums are, or you can go over here where there's like educational stuff going on free, or you can just sit in a free coffee shop or a library somewhere else, go. Because it does you no good. It does you no good to sit in these neighborhoods and just be idle hands. No good. None. It's dangerous. When people make money like that, do they not cash out or put it back in? Todd Christie and them, you start believing your own hype. Because here's what it is. 9 times out of 10, I bet you money what they'll find is Todd Chrisley probably was illegally using money before. Didn't get caught. Started getting those bigger amounts. And instead of common sense saying, I got a bigger amount, but I'm going to have to be able to pay this loan back. Because the only reason this is going down is because he didn't pay the loan back. When you start owing the bank $1 million, oh, they coming to court. These little credit cards where you owe $10,000, $12,000, a few years you can take it off. It's tricks and trades for credit. But when you owe these banks millions of dollars, oh baby, they coming for you. You going to court. Same thing with Amex. They're not playing with y'all. It's different when it's come to businesses. But I bet he was doing it before. And when he couldn't catch up, now what's the word catch up I'm looking for? When he couldn't keep paying the debt, that's when it got him. When he couldn't keep paying. You got him. And the bank was like, oh, okay, we got you. Wire fraud. Wire fraud. Watch American Greed. It happens every week. Saw the Ghana bank situation. There you go. Again, some of that, I'm going to be careful about Ghana bank thing because there's a ton of Black YouTubers planning all kind of Ghana trips this year. The price is all of a sudden low as possible. Why? Because they need that money. They need that money. Okay? And what you have to understand is tourism, if you're an American man or woman and you got that American visa, there was a woman on Facebook, and I'm not knocking her. She basically was like, Erica, you don't know what you're talking about. People don't want to be in America or want your funky passport. Like she was talking mad shit. You need to dress nice and be nice. And I want to say, honey, bye. Who you trying to convince, me or yourself? Because at the end of the day, you see story after story where somebody done came here for a visa or disappeared on some dude. There was a Black dude, beautiful guy, college professor in New York. He's mad because this woman came on a visa. He married her. He married her overseas and brought her to America, New York. She ran off with like $100,000 on credit card debt. And I was like, well, first of all, brother, you got to do your research. Okay. This white girl from Ukraine is trying to get to America. Whether you think you're so amazing that somebody should just marry you and love you for you, I get that. But to say the American passport isn't powerful is being disingenuous. It's powerful. So again, Ghana, all these places that are having these bank problems, Italy. I mean, we always make fun of Africa, but you need to look at Italy. Italy is fucking broke. Italy has been so broke for so many years. Now, many of y'all think all this tourism where Italy, all these Instagram girls are doing this. No, Italy's been so fucking broke for so many years that was it 10 years ago? 10 years ago, Italy made this rule that if you were Brazilian and you had an Italian grandparent, please come back. Now, what would that stem from? Let's be really honest. If you were a Brazilian and you had an Italian grandparent, let's be honest, your grandparent was a Nazi. Many Nazis took money when it was going was good to get out for everything collapsed. They ran out of Italy, they ran out of Germany, and they flew to where? Brazil and Argentina. Okay? They flew. And what they did is getting out of there. Of course, at some point, yeah, you may be a Nazi, but you got a tan woman, you done married. Again, goes back to that red pill, blue pill stuff. It's ridiculous because biologically we'll do the same thing. We will go get married. We will have children. Those children will have children. But Italy was so broke that they were taking Italian descendants who look like me because they had low birth count. They had low income coming in the country. They were broke. So you had news article after news article of one, the African migrants coming in illegally, but Italy wasn't enforcing them getting out because they needed their work. And two, all these Brazilians and Argentinians coming over there because Italy's been broke for years. But we love picking on Africa, but Italy's been on fire broke for years. They've been brokered in Greece. Only thing keeping Italy afloat is tourism because everybody wants to go to Italy. They want to do the pasta. I'm Italian. I'm from New York. My people are from here. And that's what's kept Italy afloat. So, I mean, if you want to go to Italy or Greece, it's a cheap flight. It's not as cheap as it could be, but it's cheap to go. It's more expensive down the coast where I'm going. But in general, people go to Italy all the time. All the time. They got whole villas where it's some of the population is so low, they're trying to give away these properties. We've seen that. I hope y'all have seen these articles. I don't know. Rock and roll Dino, we drinking almond and soy up here in New York. Now stay away from that soy unless you want to have some problems in your body. But that almond, yeah. It has estrogen mimickers in that soy. Saw the Ghana bank situation. Yep. Doug, I like almond milk in my coffee. What's your break on investing in Africa? I mean, listen, there are Indians and Chinese and Japanese and everybody and their mom is going to different parts of Africa, starting businesses and starting new lives. But it's a commitment. If you're going to move to, anywhere in Africa or investing, you're committing. Is America easier? Yeah. Now I'm gonna say this, and I don't want to offend people, but if you really aren't successful in America and you're gonna take yourself to Africa because it's cheaper, I mean, how cheap can you go? I mean, you're talking about $12,000 houses in America, some places. You're talking about $30,000 places in America. Like, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, if you can't make it here, you know the joke when you go to New York or California, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. For real, you can. I mean, I've seen people relocate to Spain and pay $300 for apartment rent and make it just fine. There's a girl called Glow Atamone. I'm gonna mess up her last name, but you can go see Travel by Glow or Glow Graphics, GLO. If anybody knows how her page, put it up there. She literally left after college, went over there, started teaching English. They pay like $20, $30 or whatever for English. Made plenty of money, enough to live on a $300 apartment. I think it was $200, honestly. Stayed in Spain for years, right after college. So, and Spain is in a depression. See, y'all, this is the problem. America is acting like we'll never have a recession. It's because people are running here with their money and their resources and their smarts. But also because other countries have already had theirs, and they're having it right now because their population is old. Japan right now. If Japan was smart, and I'm gonna be careful on this. If Japan was smart, they would say we're going to extend 100,000 visas for nurses and home health care. Why? Because that would bring in their country young women. I'd actually make it 50-50, young women and young men who these Japanese women would marry to have babies because their population is dead. And these Japanese guys would see something different than a Japanese woman, even though a lot of them are like what they call, put the name in here. It's a guy who's addicted to video games, doesn't sleep with women, but it would change their society enough. And they need that, honestly. People forget that Trump tax cut expires for workers, not for businesses. Bingo. Almond milk is cool, but soy is very bad for men. Listen, soy is very bad for women. If you're a Black woman drinking soy, you're basically asking for fibroids and reproductive problems. It's terrible for your body. During this gasoline area, what are the best investments or education for a newcomer who came into a $30,000 windfall and recently cleared credit? Miss Living, what's your goals? I hate to say it, but what's your goals? I always recommend getting some, like, not using all the money. Use 10 grand of it, 20 grand max, but don't use all the money. But also, you got to find something to do. I know people think they get a windfall, and I'm like, peace out, I'm retired. No. You need to have a combination of something you can do that makes money, and then you're just investing a sliver of it, because now that you're doing something that makes money, let's say you got your truck driving license. Let's say you're a man, I'm just saying, and you got your truck driving license, and now you're driving trucks. But then you also take that money and you invest in one or two things, right? So you just gotta be smart about it. That's all I'm saying. Don't use all the money. And honestly, that's a deep question, almost a console question. If you want one, that's on you though. Peace and love. What's up, everybody? Let's get the likes up. Yeah, there's like 180 of y'all in here, 60 something likes. It's all good. Money is green. Amen. We have to educate ourselves. Yeah, listen, I'm telling y'all, it's power out here. Oh yeah, my video. I think people think it's overnight. It's just not overnight. You're gonna have to keep working out for a good year or so. Idle hands do the devil's work. I just got on here. What are we talking about? What's the gasoline area? Ali, I'm just basically expressing that I'm out here in Houston, Texas, and if you've been following the channel, I go every week. I'm in Facebook groups. I'm in credit repair groups. I'm in business credit groups. I'm out here in Eventbrite. I'm going to people's weddings. I'm going to people's engagement parties. And what's happening out here is people that are moving stay in motion. People who are not moving don't know what they're talking about. And I pray that y'all get your asses off the internet and go out on the road. Even if you're a married couple, you should be at least once a month or once a week going to some kind of event that grows you guys, because that shit is stagnant. I meet too many couples who are like, yeah, my husband decided we're gonna do real estate, so now I'm doing it. I'm like, girl, yeah, you better do it, because he could go and mentally grow so far from you that y'all get divorced and he go get somebody new. Don't do that to yourselves. Grow together. But also, I'm just talking about, I go to these events, I see these things, I'm out here in the real world. In the real world, 90% of people are going to get married and have kids and go live their life. But they want to be in a better financial position than their parents and their siblings, especially some of the Black people I mean. They are like, they have the big money maker in their family, and they know if times get hard, everybody in their family going to be looking at them. And I was talking to them about being here in Houston and how the magic number is 100,000 to 180,000. Why is that a magical number? That you pretty much can build a house for that and build a duplex for that, period. And if you think about it, people are buying houses for 220, 250. People are like, well, Erica, housing is unreasonable. No, it's not. 220, 250. A person who's going to qualify for $200,000 and $28,000 house is a nurse making $60K a year by herself, or a married couple who make $70K a year together. It happens every day. We need to connect school. I'm going to Belize on a big project soon. Belize is one of the most difficult countries to import things. There literally is a 48% tax. It's almost like Belize is F y'all, we gonna be greedy and corrupt and get money. I really believe that. I mean, it's getting real stupid. But yeah, Belize is one of the toughest places to import things. Great if you want to get, I mean, like the Amish are millionaires there. The Amish are the most wealthy people there, and so are another group of people. The Mennonites. I mean, it's got potential, but I've been there. Right now, there's some investments I'm doing, but I'm not really going to say all of them. But orange trees, coffee, and chocolate. Okay. Sorry, let me see what this is. Y'all better quit playing with them white folks and their money. They're expecting a lot of tourism from the USA. They expect it. That's why there was this Black girl who was saying in Bali, they were giving her a hard time at the thing. And I'm like, honey, when you go to these countries who haven't seen a lot of Black people, who are like, you're American, they are so mind blown that when you're a Black American, and let me tell you, a couple years ago, they used to do Essence. You got to look it up. They did Essence in Morocco. If you guys can find the year, bonus points for you. But long story short, they did the Essence and Jazz Festival in Morocco, and all these wealthy Black Americans came. And so these guys were like, what did he guys say? He was like, what did that dude say? He was like, what's up, my nigga? Right? Something stupid. Like, what's up, my nigga? And they had to be educating the taxi cab drivers. Don't say that to me. That's not cool. They're like, but we see it on TV. That's how y'all talk. No. And then they start realizing these Black people have money. We talk to them different. Okay. So, and then they think in their mind, Black people from America got money if they're traveling. Right. Then they had, in Italy, the guy was like telling you about Stella Tours. You guys can go look this up. It's a Black woman tour company. It's Stella Tours. If you go look it up, Stella Tours, STL, like Stella got a group back. The towns at first were like, oh, why are these Black women coming off these cruise ships like this, right? Like they couldn't figure it out. And then all of a sudden they realized these Black women got money. They love the Stella Tours now. And the Italian men, all they know is Stella. So they go, Stella, like trying to get the Black women into some of the places. King Solomon, that's such a complicated question. I cannot even. If you had 20K, I would do the things I would do with 20K versus what you could do with 20K is completely different. And also because I'm in a different spot. Portugal too, yeah. Just found better investing education to fare to attend here in person for only $30, including lunch. I'm tired of evenings alone and trying to have a quality social circle. DJ, I don't know if you're a woman or man, but congratulations. Listen, I've gone to pancake breakfasts with millionaires, and they literally post this shit on Eventbrite. Hey, we're a bunch of millionaires going to breakfast at 10:30. Now, what is 10:30? 10:30 is when most people are already at their job. 10:30 is who's going to be what in that audience? Retirees. 10:30 is a particular hour. It was funny too because I was completely enjoying the breakfast, but I was like, That's interesting. Good story about Italy. I go to events all the time that I see on Eventbrite. Erica is speaking the truth. It's good for networking. It's good for networking. It's also good when you want to incorporate one or two new people in your life, right? Like I remember going for a while, and it was like a summer, and there was this girl. She was super interesting, and she lived in Austin, and we would go hang out, just light hiking, just light dinners. You know, when her job moved her for an internship, I was like, okay, you just gotta like roll with it. Roll with it. A lot of those European companies need younger, different girls. Oh yeah, Doug, they're worse than Greece. Greece is known to be made fun of in Europe because they all retire at like 50 and do nothing for the next year. You know, Greeks are made fun of. But it is what it is. Seen a lot of black French, yep. In France. Italian out here thinking they the shit they do. They be out here thinking they the shit. European whole history is destroying themselves. Germany at negative is finished. Y'all might be on time for bed. Germany is at negative interest rate. Brexit about to disrupt things too. Yeah, because they didn't believe people going to vote for Brexit like that. They didn't. They were like, oh my God, they voted it. And if you actually, the guy who we're investing coffee with in Brazil, he was like, if you look up the internet, the Google the next day after Brexit, 40% of people were Googling what is Brexit. It was the number one Google thing. People were voting for something they didn't even know. Yes, I just came from a conference in Tampa last week, but they also have webinars too, but I mostly go to the live events. Go to the live events. Listen, go to the live events. Why? Anybody can log in online. It doesn't change their whatever. But go to the live event because when you want to invest with a person or do business with somebody and you shaking hands, you're going to base it off of in-person contact. Like this weekend, I got to hang out with a few people that I was like, okay, I will do business with this person because in person they are who they say they are online. It's important. Brazil has eliminated needing a visa to travel from the U.S. because they know we are money. And they know these American men, they love going to these countries and seeing things, okay? That's all I'm going to say on that. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you, moderators. Be on top of it because you know these people be losers. Japan has started importing nurses and nurse aides from other Asian countries. But what they're making them do is first learn Japanese culture and language before they can work there, which would make sense because if you're talking about a 100-year-old Japanese person, which they have a lot of, they have a high number of 100-year-olds and an 80-year-old Japanese person, they don't know English and they're not going to learn this other countries, Asian countries information. They're not going to do it. But if you can get there, it's great. I heard an actual non-GMO soybeans are okay to eat, but I don't mess with them. Processed soy like milk and tofu aren't as healthy. Man, I ain't messing with soy. Listen, he made it for weaponry and other stuff and like gunk to make in machineries. He didn't make it to eat. And he said he didn't make it to eat. What are your take on prefabs on cheap land for my first investment property? Benny, that's a lot. Asia's working with some prefab. What I tell people is don't go overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. Your first property you invest in, especially if you have a wife or a husband, it should be so simple. Like it should be almost like a walkthrough. It should be like you see it and it just need new paint and some new stuff in a tenant. Now, people don't like that answer from me, but you need to hear it. Why do you need to hear it? Because if you don't, if you don't get a win on that first try, your spouse is not going to be very likely to be supportive, and you're not going to be that supportive to do all that hard work again. Now, prime example, the dude we flipping a house, Derek, when he was talking, he was saying that he was like, he went to a seminar, but they wanted $50K for like this ridiculous thing, and he could not do it. He didn't have enough money. But what ended up happening is Derek's girlfriend, which was going to be his wife, was like, if you don't do this real estate thing like you said you're going to do, I don't ever want to hear about it again. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, again, don't ever want to hear about it again. And you need somebody in your life like that. You do. You have to be serious about this stuff. But again, in order to get that first easy win, get that first easy win. Don't overcomplicate it. I see your brain never shuts down. Oh, my brain shuts down. I take seasons off. I take time off. But at the end of the day, you guys, once you see how easy some of these systems are, and once you see how easy some of the stuff is, you're like, oh, that's easy. I just have to record some videos and market and connect with people. Great. What's up, everybody? The glow. What's up, Andre Hatchett? Man, Andre, these people in Houston have been lit. It was lit earlier. I had to come back to the hotel and go sit down. I was like, y'all, doing too much. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're working with the government there? D Organics. Listen, I'm telling you, bro, go look at them rates, though. Them rates is ridiculous. I want to go to Morocco. Do it. Looks like you just got in the from a great night out, Eric. Is that right? Yeah. Well, it's not just assuming they're poor, it's watching TV. Like, I made a video and I actually took it back down. I make a hard edit it and then I changed my mind. But eventually I said in the video, if you grew up your whole life thinking that Black people and Mexican people are poor and their lives are bad and it's crime and it's ghetto, and then the reality is all of a sudden you start seeing over and over and over Black people winning and being successful and owning businesses. Your mind is like about to just have a fry moment, right? You just can't understand. I meet white people who are like, I'm just trying to understand. I've had white men say that 2-3 times at different country music concerts and a golf place we were at. And I said, you're just trying to understand what? I'm just trying to understand how y'all make money on that YouTube. I'm just trying to understand how y'all make money in real estate. And I'm like, what they're coming up against is the fact that you've been told repeatedly this lie. You just go to school, you go to work, Hispanic people and Black people are poor. And then all of a sudden, every day you're waking up and that's not true. Every day you're waking up and boom, that's not true. It'll mess with your mind. It'll mess with your mind. There's a reason that the suicide rate of certain people in the society in the United States is so high. They cannot deal with the reality. Now, y'all saw that. I think I did a video on it where the woman moved from Ohio, came down to Texas. Now, Texas got jobs everywhere. She was in San Antonio where rent is cheap. And she literally killed herself and her children, shot her 2 children. They lived at the food stamp office because they would not give her food stamps. This was a good-looking white woman, was only like 30-something years old, recently divorced. And it wasn't because she couldn't go to work, y'all. It wasn't because she couldn't make money. She literally had just made the decision that this is too hard. This reality is just not, she can't take this as reality, decided to kill herself. Because $400 food stamps is not changing your life. Your kids will eat one way or another. If you got to go partner with somebody, get an ugly boyfriend, your kid's going to eat. These people, she could have moved back to Ohio. This is how I know these people are mentally struggling with, they've been told their whole life that other people are poorer than them, worse off than them. And then they wake up and realize, oh shit, I got to work. I done divorced my husband and it's not the business. Yeah. Okay, that was the last of the clues, so we're about to wrap this video up. Thank you for continuing to share your knowledge with us. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Who? J.W. Carver on the soy. Go look it up. I'm telling you, Google that soy. Some foods were created for livestock, not like sweet potatoes. Yeah. Again, one time I was eating corn. And there was a guy, I kid you not, he was saying, I've worked with pigs for 30 years. I feed pigs corn. I don't eat corn. And I never thought about it that way. I'm like, and I said, well, if you look at the early American diet, and what do I mean American? I mean 1700s, 1800s. They had wild hog, they had corn, they had vegetables, and they had wild chickens and buffalo. So in my mind, I'm going to eat foods that we ate in early America. Like, I'm slowly switching my diet now. Also, too, if you guys look at salmon, farm salmon, they have to dye it pink because it's gray and it's full of antibiotics. And also, it's fat. When you eat it, in comparison, it's 594 grams of fat. You eat really live, healthy, wild-caught salmon, it's like 94 grams, if that, of fat. It's a whole different thing. Food is very important to our body and how we eat it and how we do things. I mean, and also just moving every day, just getting up and moving every day. Do you think you'll always do passive truck investing, or you think you'll eventually get your own authority? There's several thoughts to that. I like keeping it passive, and the reason I like keeping it passive, people are always like, oh, what about all this money? What all this money you're missing out on? I think even though real estate, in my mind, I call it fast money, I think real estate is still the big dog long term on big money. You know, I would much rather go in a small town and own up 100 properties in a small town than go get 100 trucks. I know that sounds crazy, but there's just so much there's a whole thought process to it. I'm gonna leave it alone. What up, Erica from Colorado Springs? What's up, Colorado Springs, military town? I think the ones who were looking up Brexit were the ones who didn't vote, because if you follow Brexit from the beginning, the leaders were passionate, but the majority of the population, the guy, when we were in Belize talking to him, he was saying there was buses. They had wrapped around, you ever see a bus where it has a wrap on it? And it was saying that if you vote for Brexit, you will get, we'll get $300 million back into the economy. We'll get $1 billion back because of this and that. And, you know, we give all this money to these other countries. And so people kept hearing $1 billion is leaving my country. And I know y'all don't understand the context of white people fighting, but in England, you have all these Polish people that came in. Now, Polish, even though they're both white, Polish and Ukrainian people are looked down on. They're like what they would consider a dirty white or a poor white person. It's literally this crazy thing. And if you Google articles about Polish people being attacked in London, it's high. It's very high. So again, the whole Brexit thing, what they thought was a lot of these people are going to go back home. I'm telling you, they really did. That's how they're going to go back home. Yes, women, listen, women should not do sewing. Women, it's not just males, it's women. When you get a certain age as a woman, when you get to 28 to 42 as a woman, your body is doing this weird thing where it's cranking up, because it's like, hey, you better have a baby soon because I'm about to shut it down. And again, don't believe the hype about after 30. A lot of these guys aren't even smart enough. They were just quoting red pill, blue pill people stuff on the internet. They're not even smart enough to research and realize the data they're talking about is from the 1800s in France, following 200 French farmers. So they think that all women stop having babies now. I know people who work at fertility places. Yes, white women around 30 do have a lot of problems. Black women, 40, 42, 43 is when they start having problems. This is just for real. You can go Google this. You can go see articles. You can go here on YouTube. All these black women having babies in their 40s all over the internet. And they ain't even using nothing, okay? But when you start taking soy as a woman, it's an estrogen mimicker, and now your body starts going crazy. They gain weight, they get fatter, they literally fibroids, uterine problems, all kind of issues, lymph node problems, and they have tracked. There's so many articles, you guys. You can go look this up. When they started having autism problems in Japan, they made those women cut back on fish, soy beans, because it's very big in Asia, and something else. They cut back, y'all. I'm telling you, pay attention. I mean, again, and also the whole soul food thing. I'm always very offended when they talk about soul food. Oh, black people frying all this food, macaroni and cheese. That is not soul food. That's what a bunch of northern people who left the South think is soul food. When really that type of food you only ate on Sunday after church, fried chicken, all that stuff, fried things. In the South, most people were connected to a farm. They had field greens, field beans, turnip greens, collard greens. They had lots of veggies and soybeans and rice and a little bit of meat, because you didn't eat chicken that much and you didn't eat pork that much, because 9 times out of 10, you needed it for your farm. So again, a lot of black people ate a lot of eggs in the South, but a lot of the soul food, we revitalizing soul food. No, you're not. You're just going back to what real Southerners eat, which is a lot of veggies, hopefully not all of them fried, and just a combination. Again, when you see people up north, New York, Ohio, outside of the South saying, oh, this is soul food, fried chicken and mac and cheese. No, that's something they ate on a Sunday that was fatty and like a treat on a Sunday. It wasn't, your grandparents didn't cook that every day and live 80 years old. They ate a lot of veggies to live as long as they live in the South. But yeah, stay away from soy ASAP. Oh Lord, y'all got a lot of stuff going here. Oh Lord, what's going on? Okay, let me see. Lima beans are bad too. I can't remember about lima beans. I'd have to check that out. Do you know anything about government contracting? No, I try to stay out of the government contracting. Right now, there's a newspaper article where a couple they literally stole $1 million from the government in North Carolina. Oh my God, they're gonna go to jail. They're going to jail, because the government bends over backwards to make sure contractors have access to work with the government. And so when you steal like $1 million, like, oof, you're going to jail, honey. The YouTube community is awesome. I've made friends and connections all over the place. Soft skills rule. They really do, Ben. They really do. But also meeting in person. Like, hey, I talked to Kevin Samuel for the Suit Saturday thing. I have a group of friends. We've done that with our young church single group where it's suits and Scotch night. So guys black up in dress, black suits, and girls do the black dress, and you go out. Soy is banned in Brazil. Yep. And again, Tony Parker, white privilege is not what people think it is. People think white privilege means money. That's incorrect. White privilege does not mean money. Stop assuming it means money. And that's what black people love thinking. It means money. White privilege is if a police officer sees, prime example, there was a little boy who went on the internet and said that he vows on Thursday he was going to go to the school and shoot the school up with his dad's MR-15. Like he really wrote this long ass thing. So the police come to his house and they're talking to his mom for like a freaking hour where she's like, he's a little boy. He's only 15 years old. He was just talking smack on the internet. He really wasn't going to do that. Now, first of all, they asked the woman, did she have a gun in her house? She said, yes. Now, instead of them going, first, let's immediately take this boy and handcuff him and get him out and talk to him at the station, they're doing all this talking back and forth. That's an example of white privilege. If this was a young black boy saying this or anything like that, he would have been arrested quicker and faster. That's all I'm saying. Same thing goes for when you see these teenagers get slammed on the ground and the head slammed on the ground. These things you're not going to do in a suburban community. You're not going to do in a white community. That's all that is. A lot of people get caught up on white privilege being money. And that's how you knew poor white people. On the internet, all over Facebook, people are like, I don't got no white privilege. I'm a poor white guy working. Okay, you're just a poor white person. Yeah, of course you're missing the point. You could be that poor white guy driving around in a truck and police not pulling you over all the time. It's a difference. Pay attention, folks. There is a prevalence. There was also prevalent during the previous recession. Yeah. Paul Mooney has a jerk about certain individuals can't accept reality and how they harm themselves. Yeah. Corn looked and behaved differently back then. It did. You actually had multiple colors of corn. Now, if you guys pay attention, if you want to do something cool for yourself this week, and oh crap, we've been going an hour. We're gonna wrap this up. Google heirloom seeds, HEIR loom seeds, and they are the fastest growing thing that people try to buy, and they try to barter and all stuff because the government's even coming in like shutting down places and FDA coming breaking places because you will never eat the same food that your great grandparents had. Never. Your great grandparents had multiple apples. There was over 20,000 variations of apples. Now you got 5 different apples you eat at the grocery store because they took all the other trees and killed them. And they only make these type of trees. So when you have these heirloom seeds, you got corn of all different colors and types. And you got sweet potatoes and purple. You see the purple sweet potatoes that everybody's going crazy about. Like that, all that stuff got brought back and is popular. And the government wanted to shut it down. Google that stuff. You'll surprise yourself. I have a lot of friends who in their garden, all they have is heirloom food. You ever eat tomatoes and they taste terrible and bland? Because we've overproduced them and we produce them in a way that don't make sense. If you eat a heirloom tomato that's purple, it's the most beautiful, delicious thing you ever had. It just really is. Like fried green tomatoes is in the South is so popular because it was like real tasty tomatoes before they fried them. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm just starting to incorporate more veggies back into my diet more and more every day if I can make it possible. When I get my house, I'm going to have a greenhouse. I grow some veggies there. There's a lot of different stuff. Oh yeah, Mr. Sway. Yeah, eating towards your blood type. There's even an article about this guy had said this, and it was a joke. He said, if you notice, white people will eat the carnivore diet, the paleo straight meat diet, and look phenomenal, be jacked, be muscular. You'll see black people eat plant. Some black people eat plant-based diet and look phenomenal. So it's like certain foods aren't for everybody. That's the same thing with. Remember the paleo diet said no rice, and Asian people were like, that's racist. We eat rice every day. Exactly, they eat rice every day, and they're not fat. Different foods are for different people, and people don't want to. We're not ready for that discussion in America because that's offensive, but it's true. Oh man, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Bryro Foster, 2009, said, thank you, Erica, for everything you share. You've changed my life and my future descendants. Food Evolution on Hulu. Yes. Okay, what is the gasoline era? The gasoline era is where you're going to have Trump saying things on TV and it makes the stock market spike. You're going to have him saying things about immigrants. But at the end of the day, the true background of this country is like 40% of all new businesses that start are immigrant based. It's actually 60%, but according to Texas, the state of Texas is 40%. So a lot of these people starting businesses, a lot of these people investing in the economy are immigrants. They're the number one people starting businesses and getting a lot of the business funding. Two, a lot of the people, if you're building a business, you're in that top 20%. If you're investing in real estate, you're in that top 20%. If you own 3 properties in America, you're in the 1% in the whole country. Because the average person, 40, certain people don't even own a home. And then to own 2 homes, that's usually a vacation home. To own 3, you are now officially in a 1% category. So the gasoline area is you're going to have Trump saying things that make quick spikes in the stock market, make quick spikes and stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're about your business, you're going to make more money. They do dye steaks. Yep. So if you guys have noticed, I've talked about it a lot, is my whole goal is I only buy meat from local areas, or I only go to farmers markets. So like I'm starting to buy actual buffalo meat out of Texas, where there's live buffalo in Fayetteville, Texas. I'm actually starting to buy steaks from the Kobe beef man out here in Austin, where he's actually a military veteran, and they actually have the steak there and they process it there. Keyword, because if they send it to a different processing place, you don't know what they're doing to it. And I also try to get veggies from local. I mean, it's just more local. Like if you live in North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, you can go to a farmer's market and shop every week. But see, people don't want to eat according to what's in the season. People don't want to hear that, though. That's a conversation we're not ready for. If you're a borderline diabetic, I promise you this, don't be offended. If you lose 20 pounds, watch, they'll take that title away. A lot of times doctors are using the term borderline diabetic to get patients to lose money or put them on, it's a thing called metformin. It basically makes you crap all the time. And everybody I've heard that takes it, like, oh, I go to the bathroom all the time, it's so horrible. And I'm like, if you actually just lose 20 pounds, 90% of the time, they actually take you off borderline diabetic. I kid you not. My cousin was an ex-football player, and he used to a linebacker, and they were like, son, you're diabetic. Oh my God, you're diabetic. So he started going back in the gym. He lost literally 30 pounds gold, and they're like, you're good. Now, how the hell does he go from being a diabetic to absolutely good? There's even a documentary you can watch it on you can watch it on Netflix, and it was like these people, they put them, a lot of them were overweight. I ain't gonna lie, a lot of them were like 300, 400 pounds. And they took them to this place, and they were all diabetes, all of them had diabetes. And for 30 days, they had them juicing and walking every day and exercising every day at this place for 30 days. And over 70% of the people were no longer diabetic when they left. Now, I don't know what's going to happen to some of those people. They're going to go back and eat like they used to and gain a bunch more weight and be diabetic again. But again, food, what you're putting in there, 9 times out of 10, if somebody says you're diabetic, imagine this is your stomach. It's full of sugar, or your body's full of sugar. And then you wake up in the morning, you pour more sugar on it, more sugar. Well, then you're going to be, it's like the sugar tablet is never emptied. But if you start your day off with mostly water, mostly veggies, again, that sugar will eventually balance itself out. Now, that is the most unmedical described thing ever, but I watched it on a documentary, and it was like, that's the best review I can give you, is the doctor saying a lot of people, it's like a bowl of sugar, and instead of lowering it, it's like they're pouring more sugar on it. And so your body just can't take it. Nah, women be having kids. Oh, yeah, they be having them in their 40s. Like, there's several YouTubers who on here that are 42, 43, 44, 45 and having these babies. And you're like, and that's why when I hear men be like, after 30, a woman's no good. I'd be like, okay, so first of all, this kid's got to be 21 or 22 or 23 and frustrated, because ain't no 40-year-old man turning down hot 35-year-old women. Ain't no man out here 45 going, I just can't do it because she's 35. Ain't nobody doing that. It's just funny. I laugh every time I see her, and I'm like, okay. Or I've heard more and more stories of guys who are 42. And I'm like, well, I was messing with this woman. She's 40. I thought she couldn't have no kids, and then looked up, she was pregnant. So now you're both old with a kid, thinking because you're 40, that means those parts don't work. That's not factual. Thank you. Exactly. People call stuff soul food. I be wanting to fight. I be like, you are not from the South and you don't know what you're talking about and you sound crazy. Oh my God, there's so many. Oh Lord. Well, you guys have so many comments here. Hold on. Oh Lord. Let me go back up. Oh Lord. South will rise, damn it. Texas apartments looking cheap. Meat should be a garnish, not the main dish. Yeah, I don't trust Northern soul food, but I never had it. West Africans have better dish health outcomes and less cancer than us. Yeah, everybody had gardens and orchards in the South. They trade food with their neighbors. Mm-hmm. They did. It literally, we only ate meat once a week. And listen, my mom, you guys, if you guys look back at a picture of my mom, she was like a size 2 and 3 for many years. It wasn't until we got to college where she started eating more meat that she gained weight. And she's still a size 6. But it's like, people are like, oh, Nay used to be real tiny. I'm like, she's still very tiny. But when we were growing up, I can remember right now, we have one piece of chicken and we would have a rice, beans, greens, and a yams. And that was your plate. Or you would have a plate full of veggies and rice and beans, and then you didn't have any meat and didn't even think about it. I didn't even know. Oh Lord, Sylvester Stallone's in another movie killing men because his daughter got trafficked. Oh Lord, that's gonna be good. Sorry, you guys. Squirrel. Is it Rambo? What is this crap? Oh, Rambo Last Blood. I should have known. Still going to China and Hong Kong next year. I really don't want to go to China or Hong Kong. They've been arresting a lot of people lately, way more than normal. Like it's at a all-time high for Americans. I'm like, I ain't got time. Miss Living, I agree with you, but I'm not gonna go into that tonight. Now that's how we ate on Sundays as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Kid rested first, ask questions later. And they weren't even wealthy white people. They were poor white people in a trailer. And she talking about he's a little boy. Exactly. Heirloom seeds. Thank you. White privilege is Brock Turner versus Central Park 5. There you go. Again, it's not always money. It's like the level of treatment and stuff like that. I've even been pulled over and I've been like, and I start talking and I can tell they can hear from the way I talk that they thought in their mind, well, she ain't, keep on going, ma'am. Have a great day. I can tell every time. Tomatoes that taste like paper. I used to grow up with heirloom products. Exactly. Americans need to travel outside the United States and taste fruit. Listen, half the pesticides we spray in our food are not even allowed in other countries. Thank you, Kenny. I saw a watermelon that was yellow on the inside. I almost lost my. That's very common. Heirloom. Thank you so much. Y'all be cracking me up. You'll be like, Erica, pronounce it right. Keto is not healthy. It's not. It's not a balance. Peter Ammo book. Eat right for blood type. Yeah. Immigrants own all kind of parts of Dallas. Like right now, you want to go to Carrington, it's Koreatown. It's basically the Koreans own a huge part of Carrollton, Texas. You can Google this. You can look up the Koreatown. They shut down whole street to do the a whole like area to do the Koreatown festival. This is all. I mean, I'm in Houston right now, and there are sections where it's African. Like I was walking by the mall, and this girl was like, "Oh, look at those black guys." I said, "Honey, they're not black. They're African. Look how they're dressed. Look how they talk. Look how they walk. They're not black." Like right now downstairs, there's this amazing wedding going on. When I came back in, and it's some kind of African culture. I apologize. I don't know which one. Probably Nigerian because Nigerians are deep in Houston, and they had the hats and the dresses, and they just walking up in there. I'm like, "Oh Lord, they about to go get this wedding." No, no, no. This is incorrect. Tariq, everybody loves saying that the immigrants that are coming to America are highly skilled and professional. They're not. They're not. They are not all business people and they're not highly skilled professionals. They are this is how y'all don't know. You guys do not know immigration laws. Immigration laws, they match a certain number of people from certain countries. Because Northern Africans were classified as white, those areas get more people. So you'll meet a lot of Egyptians, Algerians, Moroccans, and higher north people that are not highly intelligent. If you have a family member here and they want to get 5 cousins to this country, those 5 cousins don't have to have education and don't have to be qualified. I know what I'm talking about. I work in business sectors every year. This is a black myth that we love portraying, that all the immigrants that come here have their own money. This is false. And again, a lot of these schools where they have black people are supposed to go to these schools, Harvard, Yale, they accept high numbers of Africans. It's almost like 95% of the black people you meet at Harvard are African and 5% are black Americans. And they'll come here and people think it's crazy. They'll take $20,000, $30,000 school loans out as immigrants to be at that school, stay there all year long in the dorms. A lot of y'all are trying to pretend like these people have all, they're not. They're not. If you have a cousin here in America, he can pull back as many family members as he needs to. If him and his wife have a job and they start a business on paper, I've seen this. I know this game, y'all. I keep telling y'all this for 7 years if you watch this channel. If I say I have a business and I need 5 workers, I can go get work visas for my 5 family members. It is a business visa. You can Google this on your free time. If you spend $250,000 in America on your business visa, you can do this. Now, many people say, well, where are they gonna get $250,000 from? If you are an engineer in America, you're in Round Rock, Texas, working at Dell, and you make $100K a year or $80K a year, you can get a $250,000 loan for this type of visa. You can do it. That's why if you look up SBA loans in America, I think at one year, there was one year they fixed it after that. 80% of the loans that got given out one year for SBA were immigrant based. Why? Because they hit all the numbers there. They go to work, they got the check marks, they got everything. $250,000 small business loan will get them that business visa. Will also get them access to say they need 5 family members to come here. So do you think all 5 family members are going to be intelligent and bright? No. When I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina, there was a pair of Egyptians who owned the deli beside my coffee shop. And they had a cousin they flew in, and he was one of the workers. And they went home during that Egyptian election. This is 2011, when Egyptians were having that election. And because they were leaving Egypt with laptops and computers, they got stopped at the gate and refused to relinquish them. They were not allowed back to America for 4 months. They were detained and their passports taken. The cousin that was working in the deli, he was so dumb. He could not maintain the business while they were gone. He didn't know what to do. He literally sold their family's business to the Asian people down in the plaza for $20,000. And by the time they got, of course, it was dirty. They were behind everything. It needed a lot. But again, it's not always these highly educated people coming. If you can pull your family members, if you can pull cousins, that's all that matters. And that's why people get here. And that's why Trump is talking about chain immigration. You see, his wife is here. Her parents have been in America 20 plus years and never got a visa. How is that possible? Donald Trump is wealthy. They flew them here. They just never went back home. She was here illegally doing porn. Okay. And now she's married to the president of the United States. So when people try to say she's classy, I'm like, you're a liar. You're a liar. So again, I know these things. I know black people love saying people come here highly intelligent. Like I've been on this rant for a while. Stop it. These people are making this shit up. It's not true. There's like 4 different documentaries about Juice and Anthony Bowen. There's one called Fat Dead, Almost Broke, or Almost Dead, Fat Something Almost Dead. And then there's juicing ones about diabetes. You got to go watch it. We watched it for our aunt. Terry, listen, my best friends are Chinese and Egyptian. I literally have several Egyptian friends and several Asian friends. I'm not saying because you're an immigrant, listen, these are data numbers. This isn't me making this up. This is literally data. Literally, the people coming to America are not all these doctors and lawyers and smart and have money. No, there's a ton of refugee programs. Thank you, Miss Living. If you go look right now in Minnesota, 80% of the people they got coming from Somalia are not educated. They let over 20,000 people come in from Somalia. They were not educated. It's called refugee programs. Every day of the year, there are people coming here. Yes, Nigerians are the most educated, but that's one group of people. Somalians, Ethiopians, Egyptian, Moroccans, Algerians, Greece, Italy, Ukraine, Poland. You know, people came from when they had the wars in Eastern European. So many people came. They were not educated. And if you look up Nigerians not. You have 2 types of Nigerians. Nigerians who get educated before they come here and they're nurses and doctors, and the Nigerians who get educated when they're here. I'm not trying to fight with you. I'm just telling you what the data is saying. Bosnia, exactly. We had neighbors who were from Bosnia in our military town. Why? Because they fought with Americans to help America in the little Bosnia fight transaction. And they couldn't stay in their country because people would kick their ass. Yeah, those people came here. They're not that bright. So again, people, I'm not trying to fight with y'all. This is just numbers. You can go look this stuff up. I literally read for 3-4 hours a day, articles, seeing stuff, putting it together. Go, okay, well, read that. Now I'm going to call somebody in Houston, see if this is true. I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? It's just different things. Exactly. Asians also, yeah, that's very true. But Koreans, they grill a lot of meat. Different Asians, different groups. Money isn't the cure. Yeah, the money isn't in the cure. That's very true. Just said that's my time, like a comedian. We late. We know it's late. Sweet potatoes are not yams. Excuse me, Big Willie. You know what I'm trying to say. Don't get caught in the forest. Don't miss the whole conversation over words. Please don't do that. You miss it. You're supposed to eat yams on sweet potatoes. Yeah. Yeah, the Patel family. But you also have 2 different types of Patels. The Patels out of California and Patels out of New Jersey are 2 different chains of the Patel family. 2 different chains. Just like the truckers are not any way related to Patels, they are a Sikh Indians. Again, it's all it is again, it's a pipeline. It's a pipeline. Yeah, Houston has the second largest Nigerian population. They down here living their best life. Again, if you look on YouTube, I'm very rare in this sphere of talking business that I'm not Nigerian. I'm not any way related. Again, there's some people from Ghana. There's some people from what is that other country? They are coming from Ethiopia and Somalia speaking, but if you pay attention to their background, they look Americans. But again, people think, oh, that's Black YouTube. That's Black business YouTube. No, it's not. ASU is overrun with East Indians. Erica, my mom's sister, just moved to Texas from Missouri, and her daughter and them just purchased a brand new home in Houston. And my mom and are thinking of moving out there from the Bay Area. Do it. Sometimes you got to start anew. Family through union, yes. Chain link migration. Again, we talked about it. Chain link migration. You know, I'm gonna say this, and I don't want to. I'm not. I was just like we're not arguing. I'm educating, and you guys are listening. That's basically. You can give me input. I'm sure I'll listen to it, but I read this stuff for hours, and I'm a person who's sitting here with lines of credit that go up to $1 million. So I mean, I know what I'm talking about. I know I'm actually in the Asian American Chamber of Commerce in Austin, Texas. You guys can look this up. So I mean, when people try to tell me stuff, I'm not gonna fight with you. I know what I'm talking about. I'm actually out here. I live this. I do this. Thank you. Most immigrants that come to America are lower class and lower class people. A lot of them. Right now, I'm in Houston. Downstairs, the guy that was cleaning and buffing the floor was Asian. I don't know a particular country, but it's definitely not Japanese. His face structure was not, and I know that because I've lived near Asian, so I know different. I would say he was either Laos. His accent was real hard, so I'm thinking the Vietnamese. It's got to be the Vietnamese. But again, I'm seeing people work jobs they wouldn't normally work if they came to America and they were some type of doctor. If they were some type of highly educated. They're not all. So, especially you'll see it a lot in Houston. Now, again, I told you in Austin the first time I seen an Asian homeless person, and he barely spoke English, and he was saying how he lost his job, and they won't give him his passport. So again, I've seen this over and over. Chinese women come to Georgia every year to have anchor babies. Yeah, in Chicago, they go Google the article of the hotel they shut down in Chicago because it really wasn't a hotel. It was a place they were holding Russian, Ukrainian women, Chinese women to have babies. Again, if you come from overseas and you wear big clothes right about your 5th month, you come to America and you hide out for 4 months, yeah, have your American baby. Fat, sick, and nearly dead. Yep, that's one of the videos. Refuge programs get poor people too. Yep. How Not to Die. That's a book. Oh my God. For sure. Thank you, One Mark DC for the 49 super chat. Yep. They be busting these people, y'all. These operations. Again, as the economy tightens, they will be busting these people. But that's the thing. When I see people sitting out here trying to do illegal stuff, it's so easy. On paper you can create you know, LLCs left and right, It's too easy. Thank you, Big Willie, for $5 super chat. He said fasting cures diabetes. Only whites have livers able to process that amount of sugar in the standard diet. Oh, I can believe it. Same thing with the average American Indian person is lactose intolerant. But if you also look up the average Black person is lactose intolerant. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? I expect Trump to win. Oh, I expect Trump to win for sure. Y'all think I'm joking on this. That's why I literally plan my year at this point to 10x my business to the point where I'm not struggling ever. Not even just for me, but for my nephews and for everyone. What's up, Erica? Oh. That should have been a common sense thing. Anyway, I will say I try. Yeah, Native Americans are lactose intolerant. Yeah, Black people, Native Americans are lactose intolerant. So say what you will, but I don't want to fight with ADOS people. But if you look up for about a solid 100 years, they weren't shipping women; they were only shipping men. So where they get more slaves from? Okay, how was it that the Seminoles knew to run back? How was it these runaway slaves knew where to run to? We've talked about this a long time. They got those women from where? Where did they get those women from? Tribes. Where did they steal women from? Tribes. Okay, come on. So why do black people and American Indians, the only thing that kills us in this country is on average our food and our diets. Okay, say what you think, what you will about that. We genetically have some of the best organs in this country. So as long as the communists rolling, Trump will be reelected for sure. And they're doing everything they can to prop this thing. I'm not going to go too deep on it, but you know what I'm saying? Again, raw milk there are people who can drink raw milk just fine. It has bacteria. It's normal. Once you start taking it through the processing, it's full of pus. They've literally cooked it to death. It's literally nothing. It's disgusting. You shouldn't drink it. Exactly. I mean, listen, there's only so many people we can save. Let's be really honest. Some people are fighting tooth and nail against what's common sense. If you see in this country, certain people, let me just say, if you see regentrification in your neighborhood, you see people coming in a neighborhood buying up everything. Wouldn't that tell you I should buy up shit in that neighborhood? Shouldn't I save my grandma's house instead of selling it for cash? Shouldn't I buy some of those vacant lots I see in that neighborhood? See, people are reactive, not proactive. They wait until the whole neighborhood then change. Man, I want to buy over there when you already had stuff. Come on now. A lot of people come on YouTube and try to fight me. Everybody don't want to start a business, Erica. Yeah, that's true. Everybody don't want to start a business, but I don't see many 50-something-year-olds wanting to do hard manual labor either. It is. The milk in the store is pure sugar. You can go look this article up that they were going to start adding aspartame to milk. So if you got your child drinking milk, go Google it. Don't nobody want to be broke. You got to make some decisions. Yeah. Again, Kevin, I will give him props. Sometimes he says stuff I don't agree with, but he did. He said, if you're a man on there talking about being poor, broke, he don't want to hear it. Who told you was only supposed to work 40 hours a week? Some of y'all could literally work that extra 20 hours for 1 year and your whole life changed by the end of the year. That's what I'm saying. But again, you cannot expect, 100% living if you ain't got your money right. Not everybody say it ain't always about milk. It ain't always about money. But if you live in a country where it's very easy to make $100,000 a year, why aren't you making $100,000 a year? You have to stop and ask yourself that. I'm for real. If you're a man and you can say, Eric, I'm a school teacher, I'm a this, I'm a that, that's fine. You could be a school teacher. You could be a nurse. You could be a school teacher. You could be all kind of stuff. You can be a good guy that makes $15 an hour, whatever. But what do you need to be doing with your excess money? Investing every single dime of it. You don't have to stay there. That's why when people sit here and talk smack about Hispanics who cut grass and stuff like that, but then you look up a couple years later, they own houses and they own truck, they own construction company. Why is that? They make a decision. You have to make a decision about investing. I love saying Hispanics. I mean, in Texas, a lot of people you meet are actually El Salvadorian in Austin, but I say Hispanics because it covers the vast amount of people. Again, you notice what Dave Ramsey playing, the average person, there's no risk. This is something that I will not steal this. Kenny from BST Real Estate said this. Most people choose Dave Ramsey and financial peace because it's no risk. They didn't have to risk anything. All they have to do is pay their debt off. Again, people all the time sit here and say, Erica, what should I do with this? Pay your debt off. If you're that scared to make any decisions, pay your debt off. Yeah, pay it off. 100K is only 70K net. See, you're thinking earned income. I didn't say earned income 100,000. I said 100,000 a year. I didn't say earned income. See, there you go. You're talking about earned income. You're putting it in the cost of a job. No, I'm talking about 100K. Let's make it real simple for you. Let's say you have an online website. It's making, $5,000 a month. You're selling and buying different things, e-commerce. So 5,000 a month is what? What a year? All right. Let's say you buy a truck. Trucks makes you about $500 to $1,000 each week. So that's about 4,000 a month times a year. All right. You've already made 100,000. And that's not earned income. That's not taxed. That's business money. Again, people will be missing the point. 100,000 Americans, the beginning of Fluent. Yeah. I literally bought a donating for $100. Yep. Mm-hmm. They still won't be sanely satisfied. Yeah. Start a business. Raw organic milk will keep you alive a long time. Dave Ramsey wasn't the route for me. Yeah. I mean, listen, I always tell people Dave Ramsey before they Robert Kiyosaki, because then they literally do what? They get their self-discipline, they pay things off, and then they can go whoosh. Is Google ads still irrelevant? Very relevant. Only 70% of ads are actually bought. Again, read Grant Cardone's If You're Not First, You're Last. People on the first page of Google make, on that first page where the first like 12 things are listed, make millions of dollars more than people on the second page. E quadrant versus B quadrant money. Again, if you watch this channel and you haven't read Robert Kiyosaki's Cash Flow Quadrant, then I don't even know why you're watching me. I know when people say Hispanics cutting grass, I know it cracks me up. Yeah. You got handyman, you got all kind of stuff people Hispanic people do. No, I mean, Black Caesar, I'm not going to sit here and go tit for tat on health food. I'm just giving you my overview. I'm not sitting here trying to, beat people down on that. I'm just saying. But look, it's late. It's late. Listen, if you're watching this channel and you haven't got the funding course or how to create your own real estate investment group, I don't know what you're watching me for, because those two things, if you haven't noticed what I'm doing this year and what people in business are doing, they are getting all the funding they can before November, and they are investing left and right. A lot of y'all trying to catch the wave after recession hits, or y'all try to catch the wave after neighborhood already done popped. That don't make sense. That's not how you do it. So adults drink cow milk, but we make babies drink formula. Let me tell you, there are so many stories of where they're forcing, like people are at hospital trying to force the hospital staff to let the woman breastfeed. There are studies showing that Black women are uncomfortable breastfeeding. Why? One, they don't make the time. Two, again, there's a lot of stuff. If you're going to have kids, breastfeed them. If you're going to have kids, spend some time with them when they're under 2 years old. Why are you rushing to put them in daycare? That's ridiculous. Yeah, the funding course. Do I even have the link up here? I don't even have the link up here. Let me see. Hold on a second, y'all. Let me see, where is it at? Hold on, I'm getting it. The funding link for you guys. Dang, do I have it up here? Maybe I don't have it up here. Okay, here we go. This is it for tonight. Boom. If you guys haven't took that and you're not building stacks on stacks, y'all not ready. You're not even ready. They throwing money out the windows right now and you're not catching it. So look, it's late. It's 160 out here. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. Me talking late tonight. I'm going to bed. We're shutting it down. All right, you guys. I'll be back to Austin tomorrow, and you'll see some videos that Kahari put together over the past couple weeks. So thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Let's get it. You have a video on that course, the funding course. I've talked about it a million times. See, a lot of times what y'all do is y'all watch the video to get you hyped up, to tell you about all of it has in store. You know what it has in store. Go click the link. Go look at it. The video isn't going to give you any kind of free information. Literally, you're trying to get money or you're not, right? So, all right, you guys. Peace out.